Hi, my name is Jocelyn McCash, and I'm here to tell you my story. Thankfully, my story doesn't stem from any tragic event or anything major, just from living life. It starts about 3 years ago with my husband and I working our Monday to Friday 9 to 5 jobs, the grind, the rat race. We were making really good money. We were really successful. We had all the stuff our kids wanted for nothing, and we were living the all Canadian dream, or so we thought. And on the outside, things looked picture perfect. But, when we looked behind the scenes, things were not perfect. And that year, we actually were lucky enough to have planned a 10-year anniversary trip to go to Italy. And it was 12 magical days of enjoying the culture, the food, the language, the people, and most of all, the lifestyle. And we came back from that trip and we realized that something in our lives needed to change. So we sat down and looked at what was causing the most stress, because we had a lot of stress in our lives at that point. There was a lot of strain on our family, on our health, on our marriage, and the biggest thing that was contributing to that was my husband's job. He was working a high-paid, high-stress corporate job, and he absolutely hated it. So after a few months of discussing it, we decided that it was time for him to quit this job, which was a little bit scary at the time because he didn't have anything else to go to. And being the major breadwinner in the family, that was a lot of stress right there. But you know what? Over the few months after he quit and while he was looking for another job, I started noticing changes. He started to smile more. He started to enjoy our kids. He started to just really enjoy life. And it was such a relief and such an eye-opening experience for me on the outside to be watching him go through this. And after a few more months, he found a job, started going back to work, and you know what? The routine started to kind of pick back up again. And, we started falling back into the keeping up with the Joneses or the Kardashians or whoever else these people out there are that we feel as a society we need to keep up to. It's crazy. But anyways, let me take you back a few years to when I was growing up and the type of person I was, and kind of where it all started from is, growing up, I was always somebody who wanted to make other people happy. I went into business of making other people healthy and happy, and I thought that by doing that, that was going to make me happy. I was a people pleaser, and I tried very hard to just kind of fit in and go with the flow. Even though in my heart I knew that that wasn't the right choice. I knew I was different, but I didn't have the confidence back then to actually be different, to do anything different. So I just kind of went along with where I was in life, and I was okay with it. But as I got older and going into my 20s and into my early 30s, I started to realize that the harder I worked at making other people happier, the less happy I was. And of course, being in the business of trying to make people happier and healthier, if I wasn't doing that for me, how could I possibly expect others to listen to the advice I was going to give them and do it for themselves? So, you know what? I started to, in my mid 30s, realize I had more confidence now, and I wasn't going to follow society anymore. I wasn't going to do what everyone else told me to do to make me happy. I was going to start following my dreams and start doing what I needed to do. And luckily, I had a very supportive partner, my husband, Mark, who we're high school sweethearts. And the two of us together sat down and we both realized that something needed to change. And so we started to put a plan together. We started to look at the things that really made us happy. We started to set some goals and make lists. So we started making this list, and this list of things that over the last few years, what was it that was really making us happy? What was it that we were doing that, we thought, oh, those memories were just amazing. And, we look back and it was a small list. It was our family time together. It was traveling. It was spending, time experiencing life, making memories. It had nothing to do with the stuff that we'd accumulated or the house that we lived in, or the jobs that we worked at that time. So we realized that something had to change and that we needed to do more of what we loved. And by doing that, we realized we had to be our own bosses and not work for anybody else, because we knew that was what was going to make us happy. And so we started to make these changes and we started to do more of what we love. We started to travel more and spend more time with our family. And we really wanted to show our boys, our two preteen boys, that there is more to life out there than what Hespeler has to offer. There is more to life than working Monday to Friday, working hard and then taking the time on the weekends to party and drink away our sorrows. There's more to life than the stuff that we had. So I went back to school. And we started our own business, and we slowly started to downsize, and we started to sell off all of our possessions that we'd accumulated over 15 years. And we started to feel the weight lift, and we started to feel the stress decrease. And we sold our home, and we decided that we are going to take the next year to travel around the world. And it's pretty exciting. So after, we've spent the summer here in a beautiful Irish cottage out in Erin, Ontario, after we sold our house. And we've had a great adventure here. And now in a couple of weeks' time, we are actually going to be heading down to Cozumel, Mexico to spend 3 months. And we're basically going to take the time to get back to ourselves. We're going to get back to our family. We're going to become who we want to become. And we're going to start making a plan of where we want to be in life and who we want to be. And we're going to really start to focus on our balance. So family, health, happiness, balance, our business. And that's what that next 3 months is about. We are actually going to be living living in the same city as my parents. So that's kind of comforting to know that they're going to be there. But it's pretty exciting to go down and, again, experience all that Mexico has to offer. A slower pace of life, a more relaxed pace of life, and just really enjoy, obviously, the warm weather, which is a bonus for me. After that time, we're going to be heading to New Zealand and Australia in the new year and seeing what the other side of the world has to offer, right? They've got to be doing something right over there. Everyone that goes there comes back and says that oh my gosh, they wish they could move there. So we're going to go over there and experience that. And then we're going to finish off our travels in Europe. More specifically Italy, hopefully, kind of where it all began, right? And show our boys, that there are totally different lifestyles out there and different cultures, and the way that the people live can be different all over the world. And that way, when they grow, when they become who they want to be, they'll know that there's more to life out there than just what is back here in Canada, and they get to choose for themselves how they want to live. And we're going to be documenting this throughout the whole process. You're going to be able to follow us on Facebook, which is great. That's why I'm making up the Facebook page right now for you to be able to follow along. Because, I've learned a lot along this journey, over the last 18 months, really, that, I've spent so much time stressing and putting the emphasis on showing people how much money we make and how successful we are and all the stuff that we have. And that really never made me happy. But, I'm even happier now making less money, working less, obviously, being able to spend more time. And I'm more in love with my family and my life now than I ever was. And, we're going to start taking the emphasis off of money, off of successes gauged by other people, and off of the stuff. And we're going to start putting it on to our health, our happiness, our balance. And we're going to stop living. We're going to stop keeping up with the Joneses and the Kardashians, and we're going to start living like the McCashes. That's my goal for the next year. And that's kind of where this living like the McCashes came from, is that we're just going to live our dreams and be who we need to be to get back to our family. So we still have obligations, of course. We still have financial responsibilities. We are still raising 2 preteen sons. Is it scary? Yeah, it's a bit scary, I've woken up a few nights where, I'm catching my breath going, oh my gosh, what are we doing? How can we possibly be leaving all of our family and friends and moving and taking our kids away from everything they've ever known? And I'm happy to say that over the last few months, those episodes of me waking up feeling that way are a lot less. And the fear that I had with that is transferred more in the fear that if we don't do this, if we don't follow our dreams, if we don't take this path, where would our lives have been if we had kept going down the path that we were 3 years ago? So that fear is what's driving us. Not the fear, but that's a motivating factor, is that we are happier and healthier now than we were 3 years ago. And it's because we were willing to make these changes. We were willing to face our fears. We were willing to overcome them and just kind of take it as it comes. A few months ago, I read a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying by Bronnie Ware. And she's an Australian woman who took care of palliative patients at the end of their lives. And they were very successful and wealthy people that had done everything in life that others would have gauged as being, success. And at the end of their lives, they started to confine in Bronnie, and she started to notice that there was a common theme and a common thread with the regrets that they were expressing. And so she started to write them out, and she realized that there was 5 of them that were true to her and spoke to her, and obviously seemed to speak to other people because this book has become such a hit. And the 5 regrets that Bronnie identified were that these people were saying that they wished that they had lived the life that they had wanted and not what others expected of them. They wished that they hadn't worked so hard. They wished they had kept in touch with their friends. They wished that they had had the courage to express their true feelings, and they wished they had let themselves be happier. And so that's really, emphasized and kind of shown me that the path that we're on is the right path for us. It's, taking away that fear of having regrets when I come to the end of my life, whether that's tomorrow or 50 years from now. I want to know that I lived my best life and I did what I needed to do to be happy and healthy. We've had a lot of inspiration along the way. We've had a lot of people and groups that we've looked to help guide us through this. Companies and things like Food Matters, Hungry for Change, Chris Carr, Bronnie Ware, obviously, the Minimalists, all of these types of groups and people that are really, once you start to look out there, are doing the same things. They're really just trying to spread the word of health and happiness. And we hope that by doing this and by sharing our story and sharing our travels, we're going to inspire people. And it's not necessary that you have to sell all your belongings and move around the world to be healthy and happy. You need to find in you what is going to help you be healthier and happier and follow your dreams. Because I just want to leave you with remembering that you're never too old to set a new goal or to dream another dream. And I hope you'll follow us on this epic year-long journey that we're about to embark upon. So make sure you like us on Facebook, Living Like the McCashes, and I hope to speak with you soon.